Because reading is what?
Fundamental.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do You Read BTS? I'm Lisa.
And I'm Dilazay. Welcome back, guys. So this week we read a story that we've been seeing it a lot, and we had been hearing about it, and we finally got to read it and review it. And it is Motorsport by Kimtaesan. It is on Wattpad, and it is a JK story. Y'all.
The story is so good.
So good. Like,
y'all, I was reading this ahead of Dilazay, and I was like, you gotta hurry up and read it. You gotta read it.
I think
once you pick it up, you're not gonna be able to put it down.
That's facts.
I'm telling you.
That's facts. I think you were on 8 before I had even started. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna start. And then I started, I think I got to 8, but you were already past that. Girl, what a good story. Like,
so good.
Visually, I can see the whole thing.
And y'all know we love smut. So we got to have a story with a bunch of smut. But this story don't even have a lot of smut in it.
Nope.
And it's so good.
So good. It's written in a way that is very, for the culture.
Yes, but she make it clear.
She makes it very clear, and I really, this is the first story I think we've read that has been written like that, and it was an adventure because it was so realistic, and then it's also based in early 2000s, so there's mentions of MySpace.
Okay, Nunas. Where my Nunas at out here, honey? Because this is for us.
Yes, this was definitely flip phones and MySpace and Sierra Goodies, all of that.
Yes,
we in there.
Yes.
We in there.
Yes. I was so bad. I was like, every time a memory was coming, I was like, I remember that. I remember that.
Listen, I had to take pause breaks because I'm like, I remember that time.
Yes, it was the era of bedazzle everything.
The layers. You remember wearing a crap ton of layers?
Yes,
just cause
a bunch of t-shirts that were just layered for no reason.
Yes, little tank tops and belts and shit,
big belts, big thick belts. That was my thing too. I love the big old belt. Yes, girl. Man, it was everything.
Yes, this story was definitely a throwback, but as we're talking about, let's go ahead and get into it.
Okay, y'all ready? Here we go. And if y'all ain't, I'm telling y'all gonna want to read this story.
Yes, please read it, because we are not even gonna go through half of the mess that was in this story.
Yes. Okay, so in the beginning of the story, let me tell y'all know I love a story with a girl with a name.
Mm-hmm.
So in the beginning of the story, it's a girl. Her name is Shigo. I love the name. And Shigo was a mechanic and ran a garage with her dad. So she ran in a garage with her dad, but she was so bored because the things that they used to fix that was old family vans, pickup trucks, stuff like that, And she was like, man, I really want to do bigger and better things. I'm so tired of doing this. I want to eventually do bigger and better things, fix on better cars, newer cars and stuff like that. So as she's kind of just thinking about this, she see a car roll up in her garage, and this is one of the high price cars. Now I don't remember what car that was. You, D?
It was.
We're not gonna remember every car.
Oh hell no! But this car, yeah, it was I want to say it was a Jeep. A Jeep?
No.
Oh, just kidding. No. The car that whatchamacallit was driving, right?
Yeah, it was Quavo.
It was a 2008 metallic black Bugatti, Veyron, something like that.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah.
A lot of these cars I didn't know what they were, which is crazy because.
Yeah, I just know they nice cars. Okay.
Super nice cars for the time. Well, they're still nice cars.
Right. So he came into the garage and he was like, hey, can you fix this? Now, I can't remember what he was fixing. She was supposed to be fixing, but it was something very minor.
Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, we can fix that. He was like, I gotta have it back by 5 p.m. And she was like, yeah, we got it, blah, blah, blah. So they fixed the car, had it back by 5 p.m. He gave them a whole lot of money for a little bit of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So she was like, Dad, we just made all this money for pretty much that. And I think they made like 12 stacks or something like that.
It was something wild that you wouldn't expect
Yeah,
for that.
right. And so they got paid, just with today regular everyday life. The next day he come back with a whole another car and
Mm-hmm.
wanted like a brake light or something fixed. It was something fast and easy that she could, that could do very fast. And then she says to Quavo, where she was like, what's going on with these cars? Like, how do you keep tearing them up or whatever? He was like, don't worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
You want this? I kind of didn't like the way they was talking to him, but it was a different time.
Right.
That's how, he was like, don't worry about it. If you want this money, just keep doing what you're doing. She was like, say no more.
Mm-hmm.
Fixed the car and gave it back to him by a certain time, like he said that again. So after a while, he didn't come by, but I think he came by another
Yep,
time.
he came by the next week with another issue. I think he needed like a bumper or something fixed.
Right, and
And
she fixed it, no
yep.
problem.
Mm-hmm.
But then she started getting curious and she followed him to where he was coming from.
Yep.
So now they in Compton. We forgot to
Oh
mention.
yeah.
So she followed him to wherever they was at, and when he was there, she saw, like it was like a street that they had, and they were like all out there and smoking and drinking and just having a good time. And she just looking, and I guess she saw them open up the trunk or either the front of the car, and it had weed in it and stuff like that. And she
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Oh, I see what they doing." Or whatever. So, and she like being nosy because she was being nosy.
She was, but she's a car girl, so like she absolutely loves really
Loved it.
nice cars. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's why she was being nosy.
All right. So she looking into this other car. She was like, oh shoot, what's this kind of car? Blah 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 blah. And she turned around and JK was there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, JK was looking so good, like he always
Mm-hmm.
do. But this was the JK in the what era was it? He had the longer hair, but not. It was like before he cut his hair and made it long again. What was it? It was like when they did. Was that mustard?
Yeah,
That
it was a
last mustard
mustard.
that they
Yeah,
did.
yeah, 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 yeah. It was that last mustard that they did.
It was the last mustard that they did, if y'all know. And that's the type of hair he had. Oh, he was so fine.
So fun. Was it the mustard before last? Or... Anyway, looks so good, so good. That hair. So imagine that dark
Yes.
hair with the long and the fall in his face. Yes, that hair with tattoos and just fine.
Yes. Just fine. Oh my God.
The thing that got me though, I just gotta say this real quick, was when they were describing what he had on and like what his attire and what his just whole aesthetic was.
Mm-hmm.
They kept talking about this white bandage or white thing that he was wearing on his face, like Nelly, like
Nelly
the
vibes,
time,
honey.
the time, straight throwback.
Yes, yes, because that's all I was thinking about baggy pants, big
Yes,
shirts. It was
yes,
big clothes then at that time.
and
So big,
jerseys
yes, yes, and do rags.
and do rags, girl. What a time! What were we
Right,
thinking,
right.
girl?
So anyway, so she bumped into JK. JK turned around. He was like, "What are you doing?" And she was like, "Oh, what was the excuse?"
Oh, because he asked her, like, oh, is this your car? And she's like, yeah, this is my car, blah, blah, blah.
Yes.
And he was like, well, it's clearly not because I have the key. So, like, quit playing with me. And
Mm-hmm.
she was like, he pretty much was kind of like trying to check her about touching his car. And that's kind of how their conversation got going.
Right. And he checked her and then he was like, if you ever touch my car again,
That's your
I'm gonna do
ass.
some things to you. Yes, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do some things to you, okay? Because he ain't play no games.
Right.
JK was a part of this gang too.
Right. So the
Or
gang is
motorcycle
called
club or
The
whatever you
Gotti
call
Gang. Well,
it. Right,
the crew. We'll say the Gotti crew.
right.
Even though they acted very much gang like, but it is
Yeah,
what it is.
right. So, but I kind of resonated with like a motorcycle club.
Right. In a sense, yeah, definitely got that vibe.
Right, because you know, at motorcycle clubs, if anybody ever seen Sons of Anarchy,
I
it was
have
kind of
not.
like that. Okay, they deal drugs and run stuff and guns and all kind of good stuff. Like that's how I kind of had like they were a club like that,
Okay.
like Hell's Angels, but different. They race cars instead.
Okay.
So anyway, so he basically told her, if you touch my car again, it's your ass, and that's it. And I don't remember what happened at that. She was just like, I think she didn't ask him to be a part of the club.
Yeah,
Then
so
did
she
she?
really wanted to be a part because she was like seeing what was going on and whatever, and so he was like, "Well, um, I don't really want to do this, whatever." She was like, "Just give me a chance." So I think he asked her to fix something, and she did it, and he was like, "All right, bet." And she fixed something that he didn't even ask for,
Mm-hmm.
and it made his car faster. And he was like, "Okay, cool." So then he was like, "Well, you're gonna be my personal mechanic." He's like, "You're gonna do stuff around here, so for every other person that needs their car fixed, but anytime I call you, you need to be pretty much on my beck and call. I don't care if you're working on somebody else's car. I don't care what you're doing. You need to come and service me for the most part." So
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "All right, bet. Like, this is what's up. Like, I'm making crazy amounts of money dealing with these men. Like, it's fine." So that's how their whole situation gets started, where she starts working for him full
Mm-hmm.
time. But she can't tell nobody because nobody's supposed to know about this. So her and her dad are super, super tight. And she can't even tell her dad, which, super side note, this was super, like, realistic for me because my dad calls me Pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
And we were, like, into card stuff for a long time and, like, racing and stuff like that. So it was just kind of like, oh.
Oh, look at you being in a fancy.
Yeah, it was kind of cute because I was like, oh, that's my dad calls me. We used to go do this. So okay, but yeah.
But they were so super close that she told her dad everything. Like she
Right.
didn't hold secrets. And she used to being with her dad all the time. So now, since she started working for JK, she's most of the time at the club. He just
Mm-hmm.
don't know where she been.
Right. And in perfect fanfic fashion, you know that at some point, Homegirl's gonna start catching feelings for this man, as she does, even though
Hmm.
he's a complete asshole to her.
Yeah. And like she like seeing him like when she looking for him, he be in the back seat with another girl
In the back
every other day.
seat, yeah, or two.
Every other day. Or two, right? Right.
Yep.
But the main one that keep coming around is Halsa.
Yep. So Vasa is not having any of the shit. She knows, like, this girl. She's like, I don't want to know what you like. You better not touch my man. Blah blah blah. And he's like, first of all, I'm not your man. So
Hmm.
there's that.
And he made it very clear what Halsa like finna give. Halsa been around for a year, but she's also the flag girl.
You know what? Kind of side note. She freaking dropped out of school. I can't get over that.
Huh?
You see that? Did you see the part where it's like near the end?
Oh
She's like, I
yeah,
dropped out of school
yeah.
for you. It's like, drop out,
Right, to
girl.
be a
What?
flag girl. Yeah.
Right? Like,
And
what are
he
you
already
doing?
had and he already told her, like, we're not together. I don't do dating. I don't do none of that. Like, we not together like that. So why you tripping? Like, she go around and she be tripping when she see him with other girls, but she know that he be with other girls
Right, and don't even
at the
really
same time.
be upset about it. She just be like, well, you better not deal with this girl.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, it's not even like that. Homegirl's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just a mechanic. Like, stop tripping.
Right. And she be like, you skank, you better stay away from my man. And she be like, girl, I don't want your man. I'm just a mechanic.
Right, whole time wanted her man, but it's fine.
Right. But she did not want him at the beginning.
Yeah, she
She
didn't.
kind of
She was
just
scared of
started
him.
liking him. Right. Because he was very intimidating.
Yes.
And he will always tell her, keep your mouth closed, don't say nothing, don't worry about this, don't worry about that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, yes. But as time go by, she started liking him a little bit more and more.
So there's a part in the story that they're out one night doing their thing, and there's a freaking drive-by shooting by this opposing club, which is called AD, I believe. AD
Mm-hmm.
is August D and like his crew of people. and there was a freaking drive-by, and nobody got hit, but, like, it was still scary. So homegirl was like, what the hell did I just experience? Like, this is wild. Because she's used to being, like, in the garage doing the stuff that she normally deals with, and that's kind of it. She doesn't really have much else excitement. So her doing this stuff with the club has been eye-opening for her and also very scary.
Right.
So they just be shooting freely in the street. Both sides be going in as they need to.
But they retaliated though, and they was like,
They
okay, we finna, since they doing some crazy stuff, we about to go and do some crazy stuff. So they went into wherever they was at, they little clubhouse was at, robbed them, took the girl.
Let's hone in on that real quick. Stole homegirl's girl and was like, yeah, we're just gonna, you're my girl now. What?
Yeah. Right, and stayed there. The girl ended up being Sweetie.
Yeah.
Know Quavo was. Yeah, she ended up being Sweetie. The girl that Quavo was like engaged to for a long time in real life.
Oh man, that was so crazy.
Right. So they end up robbing them. They just have a lot of beef going back and forth with them.
Yeah.
So they robbed them, took the girl, and then went on their merry way.
And that was kind of it for a little bit when it comes to like their beef, kind of.
But the thing of it is, like right after that, that's when JK started. She started asking JK to teach her how to drive.
Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Yep.
So she started asking JK to teach her how to drive. JK was like, nope. I'm not going to teach you how to drive. She begged him, and then he was like, okay. What was they beg? If you do something, then I'll teach you how to drive something.
I think she had to, what did she have to do? Fix something, and then she could drive? I think that's what it was. I don't remember. And if she did, I want to say it was fixing something. That just sounds right. And then if she did it, he would teach her. He would only do one lesson. That was kind of the deal that they made. He was going to teach her. He was going to give her one lesson, but then after that first lesson, because he started like messing with her when they were driving, like kind of staring at her, kind of got her all flustered. She kind of spazzed a little bit, and he was like, "See, you got distracted, and you can't do that when you're driving." So then she was like, "Well, let me give me more lessons. Like I really want to make sure that I can understand how to operate the car and not just fix them." So they made some other type of thing, and then he ended up giving her more lessons after the fact.
Yeah. And the thing about it, she kind of learned to drive that sick fast.
Well, so I just assumed that because she knew the mechanics of it, which I get it, it's a completely different experience trying to do it than seeing the actual, like, the idea of it. But she got a hang of it pretty quick. Like I used to drive a stick, and it's not hard, but a lot of people don't know how to drive a stick. And if you're trying to figure out the clutch to gas ratio and the shifting gears, it can be a lot. But she got it pretty quick, so much so that she ended up like racing later on in the story.
Right. And see, what happened was she had a car and JK had a car, and they were just like casually like driving, and then it turned up into a race that it wasn't supposed to be.
Right. Then they was trying to run from the feds.
Right. So the race turned into the feds coming after them, and she was all worried. He was like, "We're gonna lose them in a minute.
Right.
You need to keep up with me."
He said, "All I gotta do is outrun them." She was like, "Excuse me?"
Right. And they did outrun them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, when they were, like, pulled over somewhere, they were, like, talking and kind of getting close, asking questions, and, like, getting to know each other more. You could just see that they were coming along with, like, liking each other then.
Right. Even though he would never admit that, and she wasn't really saying anything about it, but you could just tell how she was acting, that her feelings were starting to get involved. But real quick, a backstory. Homegirl was, I want to say, 18 or 19 at the time, and she had never driven. She didn't know how to drive. One of the things was because her dad was scared because her mom had passed away in a car accident when she was like 6 years old or something like that. So that's kind of her backstory as to why she wasn't driving like that initially.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
So, what happened after that? So like they were they were like hanging out. I think they were having another lesson or something.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in the car with her, and he was like, you should change your hair.
Mm-hmm.
You should get your hair done. Then he like took her to Sweetie's shop because Sweetie does hair in the store.
Mm-hmm.
And he took her to a shop, and that lady is very relevant, and I don't know how, but
Mama Lou?
she is someone. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mama Lou got something up her sleeve, and we don't know yet.
She's as of right now like the best character that's like underrated. She's not a main character,
Right.
but she in there. She be saying her little piece. I'm waiting for
Yeah.
Mama. I feel like Mama Lou gonna be a Fed undercover.
Yeah, I feel like Mama Lou is on AD side.
Yeah. Oh, or she on AD side. Ooh, that's probably good
Mm-hmm.
too. She either a
Yeah.
Fed or she not who she's supposed to be. I'll just say that.
Yeah. So they went to Sweetie's shop. She got her hair all done. She was like, "Girl, you want some braids?" She was like, "No, I'm not good with braids." She was like, "I'm gonna hook you up with these tracks then." So then she got long black tracks up in her head. And she got her tracks done. And what else happened?
That was pretty much it. They like got her hair together. They got her kind of dressed up a little bit, but not really like that. And then she was.
And then over time, JK had talked to her into getting a belly piercing because he was like, "Man, you should get your belly pierced."
Yeah, because one day she was out there working and they like hiked up her shirt. I think it was Quavo that got her some clothes or something for her to be a flag girl because Huasa was sick. So she ended up being a flag girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's when she found him in the back seat with the other girl, the other two girls.
So
And he looked at her like, "Girl, what you got on? You look good."
But yeah, he started getting her some clothes and stuff too. And she was buying clothes because she was making bread doing this stuff.
Like good money.
Yeah, she got, so like Lisa was saying, she got her belly button pierced and then JK tattooed her.
Yes. But they had started, they were really close by then now. They had already had sex and everything by then. Yeah. So y'all, by then they were really close. They had gotten really close where like they was actually having sex at this point.
They was hanging out. They had gone on a lunch date. Like stuff was happening, but
and she was a virgin.
That okay. I wanted to ask this. When they were like making out or whatever, and she puts the blunt down, and he's like, if I don't light this blunt or whatever, it's gonna be a problem. And she puts it down. I'm like, girl, you was that ready?
If I don't like what?
His blunt. Remember when they first
had sex? He said if I put this, because they was kissing and going on.
Yeah.
And he was like, if I put this blunt down, it's over.
Exactly. And she took it out of his hand and put it down, and she was like, okay, so what we about to do? Girl, for you to be a virgin, you wanted to do it like that?
She was ready. And then she, like, at that point, she liked him so much that she was willing to do that. But she liked him so much, and he was not like innocent. He was clearly sleeping with other girls and doing all kind of things. So she liked him that much.
And was like, I don't. There's so much to this that I just didn't understand. So it's like, girl, okay. This was me talking to me. That's all. That is it.
So, he broke it. But I bet you, because I never hear him, and I don't know to be true, but in my head, I was thinking, oh, he don't ever take girls to his house like that.
So, okay, I thought the same thing, too, because when she went, it was like kind of a big deal. But
for some reason, once she was wet. She got wet, remember?
Yeah, because they went out to look at the motorcycle races with the white people. I'm sorry. They went out to go look at the motorcycle races. They went to go look at the motorcycle races, and she was out there, and somebody spilled a drink or something all over her, and so he took her to his house, and she was like, "You live in the hood," and he was like, "Yes, I do." And so, yeah, that's where she changed
no. Let me just clear this up because I know what happened.
That's what happened, girl.
She was supposed to be fixing his car for the big race the next day.
No, and that's later on, girl.
That's how she got wet.
No, she got wet when they went to the motorcycle thing.
No, she got wet because she went to that club, remember? With the other two girls.
No, girl. So when she went to the club with the other two girls, she was dancing on ASAP, and he went to the club and got her, and then they ended up leaving, and he shot ASAP in the knee. So that's how that ended up happening. When she got wet,
I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah, when she got wet is because they were out watching the motorcycle races after they had their lunch date. And so he went to his house and gave her some clothes for him to fix the car. But I think it was like right before she ended up going out with the girls.
Yeah, because she was like, where are we going? He was like, to get you some dry clothes. And they went to his house. And that's when it went down from there.
It went down from there. And then she was just so happy to be bouncing on it with this man who was still having sex with other people.
Girl was fine as he was looking. I would be bouncing on that thing too.
I mean, same. But still, like, damn, like, she just was willing to just go through. And then, okay, y'all, there's a part in the story which had already happened by this point, but he was mad about something because her dad showed up at the club one night because he followed her because she was, not doing what she was supposed to do. And JK heard about it because Wassa was the one that saw everything unfold, so she told him some crazy story. And so
yeah, she was telling her dad because her dad found out where she was going the whole time. And he was going to the club, so her dad came to jack her up, which I was like, she 18?
Right.
But her dad came to jack her up like, girl, you is not finna be up in this club with these people. They criminals. They no good. They this, they that. And she was like, no, daddy, you don't know. I'm getting an opportunity. I never got to. Because her whole thing was she wanted to, like, she felt like this was a leg up to make her get where she wanted to be, which it was.
Yeah, because she wanted to work on expensive luxury cars. Like, that's what she always wanted to do. Have her own have her own shop and work on luxury cars.
Right. So her dad was like, "Well, this is not the way to do it. You're not finna do this. Let's go now." And Hausa was like, "Girl," she was eating it right on up, honey. And she went right to JK and she was like, "Your girlfriend told on you." She then ran her mouth to her daddy. Her daddy jacked her up, and he was like, "Well, I'm gonna fix this." So then her after she got home and she was explaining to her daddy what she wanted, this was her dream, why, and all this stuff, her dad finally was like, who am I to take your dream away from you if this is what you want to do?
Right.
Go ahead. And she told him that she liked JK too.
Right. And he was like, girl.
yeah, but I'm going to let you do your thing.
Yeah, do your thing.
Right.
Be careful, because.
Right.
So
go ahead.
I was gonna say, so that happens, and she ends up going back to plead with JK, like, "Hey man, like, it's not what you think." Blah blah blah. I think she calls him. He hangs up on her. So then she's like pissed because she's like, "Dang, I really need to talk to him." She talks to her dad. Her dad's like, "Go over there and talk to him, whatever." So she ends up going. She talks to him. Is like, "Give me another chance." He ends up giving her another chance. So the big race.
Nope. She calls him on the phone. He ain't got no words for her. Hang up on her.
Yeah.
She go down there and all that junk happened with AD, remember?
Oh, when they had shown up and started
weird
too. That's right. Okay,
yeah. Because like they had a whole shootout. Takeoff ended up getting shot in the knee.
Yeah, JK got grazed. Yep, you're right.
But then nobody go to jail.
No, they did go to jail. So they ended up arresting all the black men. Even though Augustine had a gun in his whole hand. They arrested all the black men. I was gonna say this again. And
but
JK ended up having to bail them out.
Compton. This is in Compton in the early 2000s. So what's your expect?
Yeah, but
it's sad.
The times that we're in.
But if you really really think about it now.
Oh yeah.
In the beginning of the story, they were saying this is why they were glad JK was on the crew.
Exactly.
Because JK can walk up to the police, and when the police were like, "Well, I see y'all down here speed racing, y'all doing this, or y'all disturbing the peace," and he was like, "No, sir, we own this part of the road, we this and that," and the police would just let them go because JK was Korean.
Right. So they arrested Quavo and Offset, I think, because Takeoff had to go to the hospital. JK ended up having to bail them out, whatever. So she goes and she's like, what just happened? So he tells her all that. So at some point they get back like cool. So she ends up needing to work on his vehicle for this big race. She is like doing her thing, and some of the girls from the club end up telling her, hey, we want to go out. So they take her to the house, they get her all dolled up, get her a cute outfit, and they go out to this club. She's at the club, she's drinking, enjoying her time. JK is looking in the garage and realizes she's not there. The homegirl that was out with her ends up somehow back at the freaking garage, and it's like, yeah, she's not here, but what about me and you? And he's like, what you mean?
Yeah, these two girls then got her all dolled up to go to the club. They end up going to the club. The one other friend got to be missing, but she was having a good time. She was turning up.
She was turning up, but she gonna say, where old girl? And she like, the bathroom? Like, no, girl, she in here trying to mess with my man. Well, it wasn't her man, but still.
Right. So now JK liked her low key, but still not talking about him.
Right.
And he got the other girl that was supposed to be in the club with him, and she trying to get with him, but he walking by and noticing that the garage is down and locked, and it wasn't locked.
Right.
So now he mad because, like, first of all, where's she going? Second of all, why is my car just sitting up in here and the door is not even locked to the garage?
Right.
So now he pissed off. And he go, and how he find out they was in the club? Did the girl tell him that they was in the club? Because the girl
was like, oh, she deserves a night out. He was like, fuck that. I'm going to go to the club and get her.
I'm going to get her.
He goes into the club to go get her. She's dancing with ASAP. He has an attitude. He pulled, ASAP is from the AD crew. So now he really got an attitude because he's like, y'all done tried us enough. So now these two looking at each other like with their guns out in a club. Homeboy shoots him. He was super trigger happy. Like, homeboy was ready to shoot all the time.
Girl, JK did not play in this story.
Not play. He was ready to shoot anybody. He didn't care. So he fires off a shot in the homeboy's knee because he's like, yeah, I was gonna take her home with me. I was gonna do that. And he's like, absolutely not. Boom, boom, pow. And then they bounced out. So the old girl was
and he was like, get up in the car. Now she go.
Yeah, she was like, first of all, I'm not getting in the car. She had an attitude because she had been drinking a little bit, so she was popping off a little bit. She finally does get in the car. He locks all the doors and stuff like that. She's trying to get out. Homeboy shoots at her area by her feet. So now she freaks
I'm like,
out.
The car?
In the car! In the car. Didn't you hit something important? Like, what is going on?
Right. And she flushed him out. She was like, you're not going to be using me and all this stuff. Like, I'm not your girl and all this stuff. It was crazy.
And so
she dipped off on him.
She dipped off and was like, I'm not going back to the club for a little bit. So she's at home doing her thing. She hasn't been in like a couple of days or whatever. Her dad notices like a change in her and notices that she's upset or whatever. And don't JK come roll up in there trying to apologize or something? And he get
right, because she tell her daddy, oh daddy, you was right. I shouldn't have listened to you and all this stuff. But she was telling her that she liked him. Like she liked him a lot or whatever. And then his daddy was like, you don't need to go back there, blah, blah, blah. Because she had already been crying about it the first time, remember?
First time, yes, girl.
And so then JK come walking up in there, and he had the audacity to talk to the daddy like that.
Like no type of respect.
Man.
Like none at all. Because I think he went out to the store for a second, and then so it was just her working in the garage, and JK popped up. But by the time her dad got back, they was like arm in arm, like she was on his lap or whatever, and I think they had just kissed or something like that. Which was her first kiss at the time. So her dad is like, is this the JK that he introduces himself and he's like, this is the guy that she's telling me about, blah, blah, blah. So he upset, rightfully so, because this is the dude that made his little girl cry. And she's like, hey man, he already apologized, it's fine. And I know as a father, he's probably like, because I know my dad has also been like, don't go back to him. And I'm like, but I love him. But yeah, so she's like, everything's fine. I'm going to go back, whatever. And he's just like, all right, girl, do what you see best. And she goes back to working for them.
Yeah, but he was so disrespectful to his etiquette. He was like, "Chill out, pops." Like he was talking to
Right.
him like that.
You want to keep wearing this nice Burberry that you've been wearing, or whatever he said he was
Yeah,
wearing,
yeah.
and
He was like, "I'm the one that got you that nice
yeah,
uh Louis Vuitton, whatever he was wearing that you wearing."
girl, fighting
I
words,
was like, the nerve.
the
But
nerve.
also you got to think about it. He really had nobody in his life,
True, true,
so
true.
he don't know how to talk to people. He
Okay,
just
real quick
got a
backstory.
lot of power.
JK's parents don't really exist. His mom existed at some point, but she kept leaving him on a porch and like deserting him because she didn't want to be around. And so, the guy, I think his name's Big Joe, ended up taking him in, and he's been with him ever since.
Now, Big Joe is the man that owns like the
The
racing
company,
crew that they have.
yep,
Right. He gets 75%
75%.
of
I was
everything
blown.
they make.
I was blown. I was like
70.
75%. What?
He gets 75% of everything they make. Now, they make a lot of money because JK is the star racer.
Right,
I
but
don't know if we even mentioned that.
still,
JK is the star racer. When they have races, that he always make him do it because he is the one who be winning all his goddamn money for him.
right.
That Quavo and Takeoff and Offset all do it. All of them, and there's probably more that we don't know about.
Yeah.
They all race at some point, but JK is the money man. Like he is the fastest.
Mm-hmm.
So big, what's his name?
Big Joe.
Big, Big Joe be using him.
Oh yeah, like he always is the
That's
one that does all the races and stuff for him.
right. Now Chico don't like Big Joe,
Mm-mm.
and she be telling him, "Oh, he just using you."
Mm-hmm.
But that's all JK knows, so JK don't listen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So we're just gonna kind of skip a little bit ahead because some of this
uh
isn't really like super needed. But there's a point where I'm trying to think if I'm gonna miss anything important. I'm about to move to the part where she's gonna move. Is that too far?
yeah, because you need to tell what happened. So, okay,
Oh,
let me go ahead and tell y'all.
okay,
So,
okay, yeah, I forgot about
of
that
course,
whole
y'all know
part.
Big Joe be using JK. He's the money man. So, dang, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm kind of watching it a little bit too, and this man just fell completely off this bike. He looked like he broke his neck. Okay, I don't know if y'all remember, but Big Joe is the man. Remember now, y'all, he is the money man. He gets 75%. Everybody else gets scraps. Okay. So Big Joe pulled JK to the side. He tells him, I have a big race set up where there are sponsors here. There's big money to be made. Like he putting up $600,000
Mm-hmm.
for this race. And he said, you can probably get into like professional racing from this.
Which is what JK wanted from the jump.
Right. This is his dream to be
Right.
a professional racer. So he's like, don't mess this up. This is what I want you to do or whatever. So are we getting to the time with the part of the race? So we get into the time the part of the race happened. JK is nervous, but he's like he's getting it in. So he's there with August D. Well, I, y'all know who he is. Anyway, AD crew. He AD in the book. He was there and he started talking junk to JK while he was out there. Now JK street now, so he ready to fight off the top.
Mm-hmm.
He is a very much a hothead.
Talk about some you lucky we ain't had no guns here, sir.
Right, right. And then all Big Joe was saying, "Come on, son. No, no, I got my money on here. We ain't got time for this mess because all my money is up on this race."
Can we real quick
So,
before you get into the race? I just want to talk about who all the racers were. It
okay,
was
yeah.
Tyga, Vin Diesel
Mhm.
from Fast and Furious.
Mhm.
It was um, Birdman, Takashi 69,
With a pink car.
a pink car, Kodak Black with a nice car, but not meant for that type of racing, and
Right,
then JK and August D.
right.
Okay, go ahead.
So all of them were supposed to be racing, and JK stayed pretty much in the running the whole time. So then he gets to where all these like accidents are happening, and the only two are left is August D and JK. So JK look at August D. August B smirked at him, and then ink, some oil came out of his car purposely, out of August D car.
Mm-hmm.
And it swerves JK's car. He hit something, hit his head, and is unconscious. So they get him out the car. She go run to the car. She go sees, make sure he okay, he good. First he didn't have a pulse. Then they found fake pulse. She knew he was okay. She go takes the helmet that was on JK head, put it on her head, get in the car, and race in JK's spot. Speed all the way up to August D. August D looking at her. They having a conversation on the track.
And then start shooting at one another.
Right. Yes. Look, August D said, well, I was gonna kill you
I was gonna
after
kill you
this.
after this.
But since you here and start shooting at her, she get JK gun out the car. Now I don't know where the gun came from.
I don't either,
because
girl.
the
It had to
city
be in
didn't
the
have
glove.
guns.
It had to be in the glove box or something. I don't know.
It was like in a door or something. You know how they had that little spot. So she get JK gun out, start popping back at him.
Wow, they're still going like 200 plus miles per hour, by the way.
Right, and it's so funny because they have the announcers talking, is this even legal?
Right. They I know they's probably look at this fucking bullshit here. This is why you can't have these type of people at these types of events. I know that's what they was thinking.
Right. So she ended up shooting his tire. She gonna end up winning the race for him, for JK.
She gets the trophy and everything, but they don't give them no money because what they did was definitely illegal.
Yeah. Now JK gonna come up. I mean, not JK. Big Joe gonna come up and talk about give him this my trophy.
Right.
But see, they don't care that he didn't win no money because of the race. Because Big Joe already bet $600,000.
Right. They had outside bets. Yep. They had outside bets.
So he just was happy that he won anyway. So after the race, JK go to the hospital. She spent some time with him, but she ended up going home. Oh, gosh. She ended up going home, and then she talking to her dad. I think they were having they were doing breakfast that morning. So they was eating breakfast because her and her dad was going to see JK the next morning. So they were eating breakfast. I don't even think they got to eat breakfast. They were getting ready to eat breakfast. Big Joe come up on the scene, being rude and disrespectful to her daddy, first of all. And then sit down and was like, oh, you're going to be my number one racer from now on. Blah, 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 blah. She was like, nope.
No thanks.
Nope, I don't even like you like that.
Right. She's like, I have a plan for my life and this ain't it. I see how you do people. I'm not here for it. Me and my dad, we gonna do our thing. So peace out, good
right, because and she was like, why you ain't at the hospital? Did you even go to the hospital and check up on JK or anything?
Right. Told her and then had the freaking nerve to be like, yeah, and I'll get my 75%. She was supposed to be like, oh yeah, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, you take 75% of all this.
What we failed to mention is when that wreck happened with JK in it, the only thing you could hear is Big Joe say, my money!
My money. Didn't even care about the boy.
He did not care about him.
Homeboy was probably concussed. All types of stuff. Nobody knew.
Oh, my money! So anyway, so she told him, no thank you. You can carry on. She went to go see JK. Ugh. Your handy.
Girl. So she's at the hospital. Her dad is they had planned for a while to get to expand their garage and all this. He told her that they were gonna move to another part of the area, which is 50 minutes away or 49 miles away. So she's gonna go tell JK the news or whatever, and is there with him, and is like, hey, just want to let you know what's going on, but I wanted to see, like, you know, we're going to be moving to this garage. And he's like, oh, that's great. You know, I'm following my dream, blah, blah, blah. Great. She's like, I want you to come
Yeah,
with
but
me.
also he was mad. He low key was mad because he ain't even Big Joe didn't even come to see her. He was
Well,
like
he
he
was
came
very
to see.
upset. Yeah, he was very upset that he never showed up for him while he's in the
Right.
hospital. He definitely felt some type of way about that.
Because he's supposed to be like his dad.
Right, which, like, she tried to tell him, but he just wasn't trying to hear that. But, you know, sometimes you can't hear it. It's too close. Whatever. So she's telling him about that, and she's like, well, you know, I wanted to know if you wanted to come with me. And he just looking at her like, girl,
bye.
Girl, bye. First of all, it's not like that between me and you. I told you what it was, blah, blah. She's like, I love you. I sat here and did all this stuff because I loved you. I hopped in the car knowing that I could have killed myself because I love you, and you're really about to tell me you don't want to come with? And he's like...
And he say, did nobody tell you to
Did
do
nobody
that?
tell you to do that? She was like, oh, bet. Like, bet.
Yeah. She was like, are you really going to sit here and tell me you don't love me? Like you have nothing for me? You really going to look me in my face and tell me that you have nothing for me? After I've done this for you, that for you, got a tattoo, change my whole look, risk my life. You going to sit here and really tell me you don't care nothing about me? JK didn't say one word.
Not a word. So this just goes to tell you, ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're dealing with somebody that's like you change your whole everything for and they still don't want you, it's just don't.
Don't even try.
Just don't even bother. Like, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your energy. Don't think they're gonna change. Like, just let it be.
Right. So she runs out of the hospital crying. She see her daddy because her daddy's supposed to be coming a little bit after her. And then she like run up to her dad, cries to her dad, like her daddy like, don't even worry about it. We moving anyway. We got our money up, blah, 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 blah. So that's what they did. They moved. They got a whole new beautiful shop. They had employees, everything, y'all. They was like living. They was doing great. She had moved on. This was a year later. She had moved on. She had a good boyfriend. That was going to school to be a doctor. That respected her dad, was so sweet, so nice to her, was fine on top of that. And she was living her best life with him.
Real quick, sorry. You know what I thought of? Because her boyfriend's name is Keith. You know who I thought of?
Who?
Namjoon. Because you know we always be calling him Marcus Keith. I thought
that would have been something that if he should have been that person.
Yeah, I know it's not him, but that's who I thought of when I initially heard the name. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So she's having like the best life for him. She lives with this guy by now. And she's just living good. She's taking care of her responsibility. She's not even thinking about JK, but in the back of her mind, she still thinks about JK. Because JK was the love of her life. Okay?
We forgot to mention this. So there was an old beat up car. It was an old beat up Honda. And JK ended up giving it to her. And she ended up, like, he and her painted it, and she fixed it all up and was driving it around. Super nice. She had dragons on the side. It was pink, whatever. So I just wanted to mention that real quick. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. So she's just, like, living good. She has keys. She has her dad. The business is just doing so well. And I guess she kind of just, she linked up with her cousin, Jay. So Jay ended up being Herbie. It's her cousin.
Yeah.
And
I thought it was Jay Park.
They don't really see each other a lot. So when he comes into town, they link up. So they linked up, and he like took her to. He has like a little club too, but it is not like how Gotti Club is. They just be doing stuff for fun. So they be racing and stuff for fun. So she went out there. She met China.
And Nicki Minaj.
And Nicki Minaj. And they were cool. Meek Mills. Right. And all of them. So she met them or whatever. And they were just like talking. And they was like starting to race. And she freaked out. Had like an anxiety attack and dipped off and left. So she dipped off and left. Her cousin came back to her. I don't know if it was the next day or so. What he was like, "Well, what happened?" And she told him why she was feeling that way, and told him about her past relationship. And he was like, "Well, we're not gonna let this get to you." He said, "You've been loving cars since forever, since you was a little kid." He was like, "So let's take it back to when you was a little kid. Maybe you'll start loving this again." So he took her to the racing track. Like it was like
a
a go-kart
go-kart.
racing. Yeah. So he took her to go-kart racing. They was just having fun. And then Sweetie was out there. But Sweetie was with somebody
Some other
else.
man. And she had to
And
try
I
to
didn't realize
hide.
it.
I
Huh?
did. As soon as she said she thought she saw Sweetie, but it was somebody else with her, I was like, And then when she was talking about homegirl kind of pushed him behind the sign and was like, "Oh, you look so much better by the sign." I was like, "Oh yeah, girl. Oh yeah."
Yeah.
So
So yeah, so she ended up seeing Sweetie there, but they didn't really talk, did they?
no, they didn't talk at all because they wanted to act like she was like, "Oh, maybe I'm just seeing things or whatever." Sweetie was like, "No, I know exactly who that is." So she ends up texting JK because it's been a long time since anybody has seen old girl. So she
Right.
ends up texting JK and telling him that she's seen her.
No,
Well,
she was at the shop and Quavo came in and bring her some more food, some soul food that they keep eating from Ice Cube
Ice Cube's food truck. I
food
forgot the
truck.
randomness of the people that are in this story, and I love it. But so she ends up when her and Hobie are out, she ends up falling and listening to them, and Hobie ends up telling Shigo like, "Hey, we should go to the bar tonight in Glendale or whatever." And so she's like, "All right, I guess." So Sweetie ends up overhearing that and texts JK about it. But then when she goes back, Quavo brings her some food. It's soul food, by the way, y'all. So he brings her some food to the shop, and then Quavo, Offset, and JK end up rolling up in there, and she's like, "Yeah, I seen her at the go-kart rink." And then Quavo was like, "Who was you at the go-kart place with?" And she's like, "We talking about JK. Stop, mind your business." I was like, "Yes, girl. Come on, redirection."
Right.
So
she ended up. Go ahead.
oh yeah, so she ends up telling him, but when she texts JK about her seeing Shigo and that she's gonna be the bar, he is balls deep in a stripper. And so like as he's banging this girl out, you said what? Oh yeah,
I said literally
balls deep, and he actually starts to say Shigo's name to the stripper. She's like, "What?" And he's like, "Never mind, shut up." And he keep banging that thing out, and then he sees the message and throws his phone. So after he gets finished, he's like, "You can go, girl," and she's like, "You're an ass." So she bounces out, and so he decides that he's gonna go to the bar. Homegirl is there now with her boyfriend, her cousin, and then the friends that she had met at Hope World, which is the name of Hobie's little club or whatever. So that's Meek, Nikki, and China. They're all there taking shots, drinking, or whatever. Homegirl's getting a little bit tipsy. She goes to the bathroom. Some guy is like rubbing up on her. She's over it. So then she keeps walking and she feels somebody tug on her again. And she's like, "I already told you I'm not interested." Well, when she looks, it's JK. She freaks out and she bounces and she looks for Keith. Keith's standing outside trying to get some service. She finds Keith. Keith finds her. They get in the car. They go. She's a crying mess, but they ended up leaving. The next day though, JK somehow finds out where homegirl's shop is at and ends up going to the shop with
the
car in tow. So he brings the car. He's like trying to talk to her, whatever. She's like, "Absolutely not. You're not about to do this to me. Like, what do you think you're doing?" Blah 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 blah. Keith ends up showing up right as he is there or whatever. And him and JK start going at it. They start going at it. JK's gun flies out, which thank God. So they're duking it out. Finally, they end up breaking apart or whatever. JK says all this hurtful stuff about old girl, talking about how he's dealing with her sloppy seconds and all this other stuff. So her feelings is feeling some type of way at this point. He ends up leaving, whatever, and has the cars there. Keith is like, so he leaves you this car. Are you serious right now? So if you're not really feeling him, you won't mind me doing this. So he tears the car up with a crowbar. She lets it happen because she's like, if I say anything about this car to this man, it's gonna be a problem. So she just lets him do it.
She is so sad because
So
she put so much work into that car.
Right. Which
that car meant so much to her.
Realistically, though, yes, she put a ton of work into the car.
Yes.
But she is a really good mechanic. So
yeah. So many people are talking about this girl car in this story that the author had to be like, okay, y'all.
Right, they left a whole bunch of comments. She's like, all right, y'all, chill, because homeboy's not toxic. She can fix the car. Y'all need to chill out. It's a story. Chill.
Yeah, like they were upset about him tearing up that car.
Yeah, like they were super upset about it. So she made a point to mention that in the story. So if you guys read it, you see these author notes. The author notes is where the tea's at, y'all. I just want to let you know.
Right.
That's
like
where the tea's
real.
at. But yeah, so he wrecks the car. She's upset about it. She cries or whatever, but she's just kind of like, it is what it is. Like, I was going to be, it's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, right?
Right.
So that's done, you think, right? So the next day, it's after hours and Keith is doing his thing. He's at home. She's at the shop still or whatever. JK rolls up again after hours in a spot he's not supposed to be in. And this
looking
time,
fine with that Band-Aid.
Looking fine with that Band-Aid and his baggy pants and his jersey or whatever type of shirt. I think he just had a big tee on. Walking in there. He ended up kissing girl. He talked about, like, you know, I'm sorry. He actually apologizes for everything, shooting at her and all the stuff that he put her through last summer. So she's
and it was like, you know you love me, she goes. You know
right.
you know you do. And she all in her feelings like, oh.
Whole time reading it like, don't do it, girl.
I did it.
I did it. Oh man. So she does it, but
right.
So he ends up kissing her and she's like, she leans in, she kisses him back, and then she's like, oh shit, I have a whole man at home waiting on me. I can't do this. So she pushes away from him.
And she liked it.
She liked it. She liked it a lot. So she pushes away from him and she's like, you gotta go. You need to get out right now. So he leaves and he's like, I'll talk to you soon. And she's like, no, you won't. Which, you know, she's gonna talk to him again. She probably like texts him that night. It's fine.
Right.
So she goes home slowly because now she's like, oh crap, now I gotta say something to my actual man. So she gets home and she's like kind of hesitant and he's like, hey, you know, she's like, what are you doing still up? And he's like, well, you weren't back yet, so I just wanted to make sure you was cool. So JK came, like, just not even for the, like, just right out the gate. So, you know, he show up again. So she's like, yeah, okay, did he try anything? Yeah. He kissed you, blah, blah, blah. Did you kiss him back? Yeah, but it wasn't like that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, nah, girl, because you had me mess up this entire relationship. I have been trying to be patient with you throughout this whole thing, and you still are stuck on this man. I can't do this.
Right, and he was like, I'm not stupid, she go. When you're late, you have a reason to be late. You gonna tell me you don't have a reason to be late this time? I'm not dumb.
Right. And so she ended up telling him what happened or whatever, and then he packed all of his stuff and he bounced out. And she was crying, he was crying, and he left. And that is the end of the story for now.
It's not the end.
Yeah, it's
but it's where it's where it left off. And
it's not finished.
Let me just tell y'all, this story was so good. The story that we were supposed to be reading, this took over.
Yeah.
Like, let's just tell y'all that. We're going to still review our other stories, the taste story that we got, but we're going to review it on TikTok. So y'all stay tuned for that too.
Yeah.
But this story.
Yeah. So also, guys, this story had a soundtrack, and if like, I love stories that have a good soundtrack, and if you read it and you listen to the songs, first of all, she makes a point to either just let you play it from the beginning, or she'll tell you when to play the song. Listen to the song while you're reading it, because it is a whole experience. Like, it really is like a movie soundtrack type of thing. It fits so well.
That's what I was going to ask you, because me and D, y'all was talking, and D actually listened to the music. I did not, because I like to stay focused on the words. but I kind of wish I did. So the question I was going to ask you was, do you play it from what she have on the book, or do you play it like on your Apple, so you could play it when she's ready for you to play it?
So I played it from where it was in the story. So like the first one that I remember popping up, it doesn't have like a start now, play whatever. So I just played it and then I just started reading the story. But later on, there's a chapter that says don't play it yet, and then there's like as you scroll further down, which the chapters are long. So the fact that I scrolled my ass all the way back up just to play the song, just to go back down to where I was already at, was a thing.
Yeah.
But it was super fitting for that part of the story. So I just played it as she put it, and if she didn't put it, then I just played it.
Right. That's what I was wondering. I was like, well, do they go back all the way up? Because it's so long.
Oh no, I definitely did.
The chapters are very long.
I did, because I feel like it really helped with the story. Like, not helped because the story didn't need help. The story was good, but it just made it like a fuller picture. Because like I said, it was kind of like a soundtrack to the story, almost like watching it without watching it. You know what I mean? So it was just, it kind of made it complete for me. Listening to the songs, and then for the story, for the chapters that didn't have any music to them, I was telling Lisa earlier, I have a playlist called Drive Time that I listen to when I drive, and it actually fit the story perfectly for the ones that didn't have any music to them. So I don't typically do music, and well, that's not even true. I do play music when I read, but yeah, it fit really well with the story. So if you guys do read it, if it's for you and you're able to do that, listen and read, I would do that. If you're not, then that's fine. You can listen later. But it is a really cool effect. And she has pictures. She has different gifs, whatever. She has a bunch of those. And yeah.
Oh, and you can go to her Instagram, and she has a Instagram just for the fan art that she drew. Like, she does. Did you see the one that she did?
I did.
It was so good.
It was really good.
So she has an Instagram just for that, and she has a personal Instagram too.
Yeah, so the fan art too is really good in the story. The ones that she made, and then the ones that other people sent in as well, I thought was really cool. So it just all together was a dope, really cool concept. Something that I don't think I've read anything like that before. Just the verbiage of how the story was written was really dope to me. It was a little bit more realistic than some of the other stories. I don't know. It just felt very familiar. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
It felt very familiar. And just the throwback of it all was really cool too.
Right. So I'm going to ask you anyway, even though we already said it. How you feel about this story?
I love this story. I thought it was dope, and I can't wait to finish it. I'm going to not bother homegirl because it was really good, but I'm really curious because she left us on a freaking cliffhanger. I want to know, does she go back? Does she chase after Keith? Like, what happens? I already know what she's probably going to do, but, I just want to see where the rest of the story goes from here. Because like we were, I don't know if we talked about it while we were recording, but one of the characters, I feel like she might be up to some mess, and I would love to see
Lou.
Yeah, Mama Lou. I would love to see what happens with Mama Lou. I'm also curious to see if JK ends up leaving that life and ends up going with Shigo, and really does become a Formula One race car driver.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, there's so much I'm curious about that I can't wait to read the rest of it, but I did love this story. It was so cool, and the fact that, like I said, the language that was used in it, I just thought was dope. When I know a lot of people probably had a lot to say about it, clearly because she put it in the author's notes, but I thought it was the coolest part about the story, to be honest.
Right.
How did you feel about
but
it?
But what we failed to mention, before I tell you how I felt, what we failed to mention is that when he went back to get Shigo after she moved away, she asked him, "Are you still working for Big Joe? What's his name? Big Joe?" And he put his head down, like he was almost like embarrassed to say that he still was working with him.
Because he was like, I can change it. She was like, you still work for him? And he's like, he ain't saying nothing. She's like, you ain't changed.
Yeah, because she was like, and she told him, I'm in love with Jungkook. I'm not in love with JK.
Yep.
So, ooh, it's gonna be so
It's
good.
gonna be so good. I can't wait to read the rest of the story. I am invested.
So I love this story. Y'all know that my top story is Wampino, okay? But this right here is almost number 2. Like it might be right there with Wampino. It's so good.
For it not to have
Like,
smut and you like it like you do is
girl,
huge.
you know how I feel about Wampino.
I know.
So when I'm telling y'all, I kept trying to tell people as I was reading, you got to read it. You're going to love it. This is your type of story. She was like, okay.
Yes.
I don't even think she realized how good it was when I kept saying, you got to read it, girl. You can't put it down. It's so good.
Girl, I got through that first chapter or the first what? So okay, something that else, and it's kind of simple, but I just thought it was really cool because it really just went with the whole theme. Each chapter is called a lap, like a race lap.
Love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
So after the first lap, I was in it. I was like, "Oh, girl, this story is so good. I can't wait to read the rest." She's like, "You probably gonna be finished tonight." I was like, "I might be." Man,
yeah,
that story was so good.
She really blew through the story. Mm-hmm. You literally started reading this on Friday.
Yep.
And it's Sunday.
Yep. Yes, I did. It was so
and
good. I finished early today. Yeah, I was gonna say I finished early today.
Yeah, but it was so good, and I didn't even realize that it was the last chapter. And then at the chapter 21, she was like, "Oh yeah, this is not an update. I just wanted to trick y'all." She was like, "Because people keep asking me, and I keep telling y'all that I'm not finishing this story until I finish Chun-Li." She got another story that she's writing. It's a Kimtaesan story called Chun-Li, and I am going to read that.
Me too.
Because it's probably as good as this one.
Something else, sorry to cut you off. Something else that I thought was really cool was the inclusion of other characters. So I just thought it was really cool that it's not even like, yeah, there's other BTS members in it, but the fact that you have the Migos and you have Sweetie and you have Nicki Minaj and China and Meek, and I just thought that was really cool. Ice Cube, which is kind of random, but it makes sense because it's it's Compton. I get it. So I just thought it was dope that inclusion of characters, because it's not something you typically see. You normally see like other K-pop idols. You don't normally see like outside people like that. So I just thought that was really cool.
Yes, I loved it so much. Like, it was so good. Like, I am looking forward to this next part of it, but I will not be asking her when we get.
Yeah, I won't either.
When we get another chapter. Yeah. I'm going to let her do her thing because she specifically told them, y'all quit asking me. I am going to do the next chapter when I finish this other book. I only got 2 chapters left. So, y'all, please go and read this story.
Yeah, it's good.
I promise you will love it. It is so good. You may not agree with some of the words that are said, but just know, like the girl the author tells you in the story, this is in the hood, in Compton. It's using words that real people use.
Yeah, the whole like lingo. I don't want to say the lingo, but just the slang that's used in the story is very real, and it may be uncomfortable for some people. The N word is used a lot. With a not a hard ER, so just there's that. I know there's books from previous things. If you were in anybody's high school, you probably read a book that had it and it was a hard ER. So just get past it, just move along. But the story is really good.
So good.
Check it out.
Do not pass the story by y'all.
Yeah, this is a good one. If you're into it, and then this is something else I was talking to Lisa about. I don't know if this girl knows about cars like that, or she just did some really good research. I mean, not even just the cars, the times, the songs, the stuff that was around during that time. I don't know if because she looks really young, so I don't know if she did a lot of research or she just really knows a lot about these cars and things like that. But the detail is really dope. Some of the stuff that she said about these cars, I'm like, I don't even know about that stuff, and I know a little bit about cars, not a ton, but. The
I don't know nothing about cars.
Certain cars, I'm like, okay, I know what that looks like. Other cars, I'm like, what is that?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just
But
the
it was so
detail.
good.
Yeah, it was super good. So good job. Way to be.
Shout out to the author.
Shout out to you, girl.
You
did
done
that.
amazing.
You did that.
And we have really had a lot of people ask us about this story. And once I Instagram this author and tell her that we were going to review it, it's so good. She was like, "Oh, I was waiting for y'all." I was like, "What?"
Like, girl, you could have said it and we would have been ready.
Right. So I'm looking forward to her finishing the story, and I'm going to read some more of her work. So,
and we will definitely have to do a follow-up episode on this once the story is completed, because the story is that good. We're just gonna have to do a follow-up episode, which we have done in the past with other stories as well. So once it gets completed, we'll definitely do a follow-up. Don't know when that will be, but we'll know when it's completed. We'll probably mention it every episode from here on out, just because we're so excited about it. It's just how we do. So. Right.
And guys, don't forget about our TikTok.
Yeah, so we do have our TikTok. As usual, you guys can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. We're not really active as much on Twitter anymore. But you can follow us on our TikTok and our Twitter and our Instagram. You can email us if you guys have suggestions to doyoureadbts@yahoo.com. Yeah. That's everything. See you guys next time.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.